You don't believe in diets from your books. You
Not anymore,
seriously
no.
said that.
No, because I tried every diet, and what I really came to realise is diets don't actually address our psychological relationship with food. They don't address like who we are as an eater. They don't address our, our conditioning around food, what we learned growing up, our belief system around food. It's all about just what is on your plate. So diets teach us, eat this, don't eat that. But what they don't address is all of that comes with such an emotional response. Many, many people, many women have very emotional relationships with food. We treat it as love, we treat it as comfort, we treat it as a reward. There's all of this underlying stuff that isn't being talked about, and diets can actually make us constantly feel like we're never doing good enough, constantly feel like we're failing, and ultimately they're just not sustainable.
Exactly, yeah. I actually, when I was doing my master's a few years ago, my professor said to me, he said, during recessionary times, you see an increase in confectionery sales because people feel though they deserve a reward for nearly disappointing days, really. I don't know what the term he uses, but he just said there were increase in kind of confectionery sales because when people are down, obviously they go to their treats more often. But I know you highlight in your books The Goddess Revolution and Hungry for More, that the answer for it is self-love and just going into the deeper meaning, whether that's more personal issues you have in your life. But self-love, I suppose, to me, what really is it? Like, I'm just saying, how can that stop my cravings, or how can it stop my my desire just to go after the foods I don't want to do? Like, how can I actually pinpoint, right, self-love is going to cure me from these craving problems and these binges? If we could define that and get your perspective what it actually is.
Yeah, so ultimately what's happening when we experience those cravings is it's a really a bigger, more meta problem that we're looking at here, and that is that we live in a society in which we don't know how to look inwards for the answers. We're constantly looking outwards. We're constantly looking for, we need something else to buy, we need something else to eat, we need, a glass of wine, we need a Snickers bar, we need to buy this new handbag, these new shoes. We're constantly looking outside of ourselves for the answers, right? And we have this internal dissatisfaction with ourselves, with our lives, and whatever this deep hunger is, it can't be solved with just fixing things from the outside in. It's an inside job, and that's why self-love is important. Now, self-love is really just about cultivating a relationship with ourselves that is healthy, like being able to trust ourselves, being able to listen to ourselves, being able to really be with ourselves. And when you're in that moment of wanting to binge or wanting to smoke or wanting to get a glass of wine as a reward, or all these kind of very human urges that we find ourselves having, really what we're trying to do there is escape a feeling. We're trying to get out of some kind of discomfort. And if we can actually be with ourselves in that discomfort and actually be with all of those feelings that are arising, whether that is stress, whether that is, loneliness, if we can actually be with those feelings, we can actually heal ourselves. We can actually create a sense of self-love instead of just constantly trying to run from these uncomfortable feelings. And we actually grow when we sit in that discomfort. For me, when I was constantly acting out with food, binging, purging, I couldn't be with myself. I didn't know how to sit in that uncomfortable feeling of nothingness because it was just unbearable for me. I had to have something to fix it, and I didn't get into drugs. Food was my drug. But for a lot of people, they go out and they do a line of coke, or they have to surround themselves constantly with people, or, now obviously everyone's addicted to social media. So the slightest bit of anxiety, you just refresh your phone and you're, getting that hit of dopamine. So the answer is a deeper problem that we're facing here.